A good communicator affects our physiology. The power of voice can entrance us, even induce or remove pain. I came to the old operating theatre at London Bridge. You're all medical students?
Yeah.
Have you been here before? No. It is a remarkable place. This is where they used to perform amputation. Imagine yourself delirious with fear. There's no anaesthetic. Just hold you down, and hope that you'd just pass out before they'd finished. So I want to try something with all of you. And while it may be a bit disturbing, I can absolutely guarantee your safety. If you don't want to do this, that's absolutely fine, you can say so. But if you do, once you're in, and there's no going back, all right? Are you all happy to do this? Yeah? Yeah? No. You don't want to do it? No. Sure? Yeah. Absolutely fine. Going to make your way back out there. So let's begin. It's very easy to get an idea in somebody's head. Do you study dentistry as part of the course?
No.
No? The whole area of toothache. It's an interesting one. Often what happens is the nerves at the actual base of the tooth, like right in there, right where the base of the tooth would be, go bad. Right in there. You must have had really bad toothache. The first sort of tingling feeling that you get, I mean, what's it like? How would you describe the sort of toothache pain?
Constant pain.
Yeah? You're feeling that now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that like?
It's sharp down, straight across.
You're genuinely feeling that now?
Genuinely feeling it straight down.
Sometimes it's the sort of thing that can spread. You're getting it in your gums, or is it in the teeth itself?
Yeah, it's also everywhere.
Yeah.
It's down your jaw.
Right down your jaw. And when it gets worse, and it gets worse, and then suddenly it's gone. And gone, and you don't feel anything at all. It's like it's anaesthetised. You feel nothing. Nothing at all. Like in the back of your hand there. It's like a blueness. It's like a blueness in the hand. Oh, nothing. Try pinching it. What's it like?
Nothing. Clammy and just not responsive at all.
Imagine you can probably feel your wrist, can you? Or you can feel your arm. You really not feel that?
Seriously.
Would you be happy to, bash that or twist it really hard or stick something through it?
Yeah.
Would you be happy to stick a needle through it?
Yeah.
Would you be happy to do that now? If I gave you a needle?
Yeah.
Just to show us that really is dead. You'd be happy?
Yeah.
These are sterilised hypodermic needles. You want to hold that in that hand. You really can't feel that, can you?
Seriously.
Absolutely dead. It's just like a piece of dead meat on the table. It's like sticking a needle through a piece of dead meat. Go on, just push it through. Push it right through and out the other side. Right through.
Oh my.
You can't feel a thing, can you?
No.
How does it make you feel?
Weird. That is weird.
It's just a dead hand. Have you ever seen anything like that before?
No.
And you're not bleeding? You're completely happy with that?
Completely happy with that.
And pull it back out, gently. No blood. No bleeding. Now the feeling's going to come back in your hand now. There'll be no pain. You find you can start moving your fingers now and moving your hand.
It's weird. I saw the needle there, and then it just came back out the other side and thinking, now this really should be hurting, but just nothing at all.
When you took the needle out, you just couldn't see anywhere that the needle had been. I was really surprised. I thought, there'd be some blood at least.
It was an amazing experience.
Impressed. Very, very impressed.
We're not filming at the moment, are we? In that case, before we start, is my mic's... Yeah, okay. Before we start then,
we're going to do this without filming. You've all got, I hope, all right, we asked you to print out a photograph of a loved one. Hopefully these are prints, and it wouldn't matter if they got damaged. That's the idea. I have here, this is extraordinary. This is a genuine satanic rite based on an 11th century manuscript, and it's the rite that people read out declaring their allegiance to Satan. It's extraordinary these things exist. And the idea is that you get his protection in your life, but then you're subject to his torments and whims for eternity after that. As part of it, what you do is you would stab back in the day it would have been a portrait, but nowadays they do it with photographs. You stab a photograph of someone that you love. You read this out, and this is declaring your allegiance to Satan. So before we start filming, does anybody want to do that? Just out of interest. Anybody up for doing that? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 out of 160 of you. What's your name? Sam. Do you want to come do it? Thank you, Sam. Hello.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. Who's in the photograph?
It's my twin sister Lucy.
Your twin sister Lucy.
Yeah.
Okay. So, the reader, that's you, must place a representation of their loved one onto the table and light a black candle. So would you light the candle for me? Lovely. Wine is poured into the chalice. The reader must take a sip of the wine. And then read the first part of the rite.
To Master Satan himself, the faceless inferno, I offer my eternal soul forever to suffer in damnation, persecuted in torment for all time by your infernal princes Baphomet, Thoth, and Set. To appease thine hunger, I give you my soul in return for your protection during this earthbound existence.
Readies the dagger, plunges it into the photograph. Into your sister, please. Again, again, again. Excellent. Thank you very much indeed. Well done, Sam, and good luck with the rest of your life. Thank you, Sam. What was of interest to me there, and by the way, Sam, we were filming that. I said we weren't filming it because I didn't want you just to be playing up for the cameras. I want you to do that and genuinely want to do it as opposed to just want to be on TV. You happy with that? Okay, good. What was interesting to me was that only 11 out of 160 of you actually put your hand up. Out of interest, how many of you actually believe in the devil and that stabbing a photograph could have any physical effect on the person in the photograph? 2?
Thank you. I propose a game. Let's play a game. I propose a game. Something's missing. What's missing? My shoe. Very good. Well observed. I'm only wearing one shoe. I have here a shiny shoe. Here a fairly stinky sock. Where is my other shoe? I hear you ask. Thank you, 6 people. I'll tell you where my other shoe is. I have hidden my other shoe somewhere in Nottingham. More specifically, in this box here. Or if you like, in this box here, or if you prefer, in that box there. So here's the game. You try and guess which box contains my shoe. If you guess correctly, you win my shoe. You can have it. And I'll perform the whole of the rest of the show wearing only one shoe. That's the game. The game has a name. The name of the game is Derren, please tell me where I might find your other shoe. So without any further ado, let's play a round of Derren, please tell me where I might find your other shoe.
Please tell me where I might find Derren's other shoe, if you'd be so kind. Please tell me where I might find his other shoe, if you don't mind.
Okay, box number 1, box number 2, box number 3. You're going to vote as an audience with your applause. So applaud if you think it's in box number 1. Thank you. Applaud if you think it's in box number 2. Very good. And if you think it's in number 3, applaud now. Number 3 is wrong. As I'm afraid was your second choice, number 2, also wrong. It was in fact over here in box number 1. Never mind, give yourselves a hand, you did your best. It's not too difficult to manipulate an entire crowd, but the fewer of you there are, the more of a challenge it is. So let's make this a little more difficult and do this with just a couple of you. Put your hand up if you are here with your partner. All right, so I've never quite managed to get this up into the balcony on a first attempt before. Oh, yes! Up you get, stand up, both of you, up you get. I'm going to get a microphone too, should be one just coming along there now. What are your names?
Louise and Ian.
Louise and Ian. How long have you been together for, Louise and Ian, if those are your real names?
Nearly 10 years.
Nearly 10 years. Excellent. Good. All right. Excellent. Let's play another round of Derren. Please tell me where I might find your other shoe.
Please tell me where I might find Derren's other shoe, if you'd be so kind. Please tell me where I might find his other shoe, if you don't mind.
Okay, Louise and Ian. Ian and Louise, I'm going to want a joint decision from you. So one you both agree on, and obviously it goes without saying, it is a completely free choice. Now, what's interesting is this. Ian is on the left, Louise is on the right. So Ian will be naturally drawn to box number 1, the one on the left, and Louise will be naturally drawn to box number 3, the one on the right, because we're drawn to things closest to us. But the reason why this is interesting is that I want a joint decision. So if between them they go for number 1, we can presume that Ian is the dominant partner in this relationship. Because Louise will have submitted to his natural instinct. And likewise, if they go for number 3, we can presume that Louise is the decision maker in this household. Is that clear, both of you, first of all, that we are judging you, yes?
Yes.
Yes? Academic in this case, because we can hear that he's taken the microphone and decided to speak for both of them. They could, of course, go for number 2, although that to me would suggest a lack of leadership in the household. Any kids then tend to grow up without a strong sense of a moral framework. They end up lazy and listless and what we might think of nowadays as drug addicts, sadly. So, entirely up to you. 1, no, or 3. Joint decision, please, and Ian, don't stand for any nonsense.
3.
Is that a joint decision?
No.
Right. Secret of 10 happy years, though. Go on. Joint decision, please. You can have number 3 if you like. I just want a joint decision.
Number 1.
Louise, is that a joint decision?
I'm happy to go with that.
Happy to go with number 1. Okay, number 1 is wrong. So, what's it going to be? Shit kids or Louise is the best?
3.
3. Do you want to change your mind?
No.
No! You should always change your mind. I'm sorry you were wrong. You should always change your mind. It was in number 2. Give them a hand, though. I'm sorry. You should always change your mind. And there's a good reason why. There's a good reason why you should always change your mind, which I will explain to you, because I think these things are important and you won't hear it anywhere else. So let's try this with the most difficult situation of all now, which is just with one person. Downstairs in the stalls, put your hand up if you are a lady here for your birthday. Put your hands up. If I throw this out, can you get that to somebody with their hand up? Doesn't need to be the... Oh, beautifully done. Up you get, madam. What's your name?
Abby.
Abby. Now, you did catch that right out the end, but we don't know each other, do we? There's nothing going on. Abby. All right. When's your birthday? Today or?
Sunday.
Sunday? A round of applause for Abby. It's her birthday on Sunday. Okay, that's enough. Got to crack on. Abby. You need to make a decision of 1, 2, or 3. So you can't change your mind. I'm going to ask you to write it down. There's an usher out there in the aisle with a pen and paper. Would you mind, Abby, just heading out? And we'll play one final round of Derren. Please tell me where I might find your other shoe.
Derren's footwear must be somewhere. Where could his footwear be? Derren's footwear must be somewhere, but where specifically?
Okay, Abby. Have you made your mind up?
Yep.
Okay, so let me tell you what was going on in my head as I put it in one of these boxes. In round number 1, it was in box number 1, yes? And then round number 2 is in box number 2, which leaves box number 3 is the obvious choice for round number 3, but too obvious. You might think we can disregard it because Abby is doing her best not to appear obvious, but that's where it gets interesting, because she will disregard it, but the moment she disregards it, she is then playing the role of somebody trying to catch me out. And then it ceases to be a random 1 in 3 choice, and it becomes the far more predictable choice of what does somebody do when they're trying to catch me out, which of course is to go for the most obvious choice, because it will seem less obvious, specifically because of its overabundance of obviosity. So I'm hoping that you, as everybody does, went for number 3. Which one did you go for?
3.
Number 3, good, all right. So, as did they, so I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'll give you a chance to change your mind. I'll show you, as I did them, it's not in box number 1, all right? Just as I showed Louise and Ian up there, so it's not in box number 1. You now have a choice. You can either stick with 3 or change your mind to number 2. Similar choice to what they had up there. Now, your gut will tell you, as it did with them, to stick with number 3, because you'll think, well, it's 50-50, isn't it now? So if I change your numbers right the first time, I'd kick myself, so I might as well stick. But here's the point. 2 boxes does not necessarily mean 50-50. You're actually twice as likely to win now if you change your mind to number 2, which is counterintuitive, but it is true. So let me explain to you why this is true. Imagine there were 100 boxes. 100 boxes, only one of which contains the shoe. This is why you should always change your mind. All right? And I ask Abby to guess which one she thinks it's in. Now, because there's 100, we can presume she'll be wrong, right? It's only 1 in 100 chance she'll be right. So let's say she went for number 1. All right? Now, obviously, I know which one contains the shoe, and clearly we can presume it's going to be in one of the other 99 here. And I only want to leave her with one other choice, so I start eliminating. I eliminate 98 of these boxes by opening them up and showing them empty, leaving her number 1, and for some reason, number 84. That's the one I don't open up. You now have a choice. Do you stick with number 1, the one you plucked out the air at random, or do you go for number 84, The only one that I didn't open up. Clearly, it is in number 84. Yes, it's in number 84. So 2 boxes, but self-evidently not 50-50. And the maths is very straightforward. We already know number 1 is a 1 in 100 choice. That's going to be wrong. Yes, that's the wrong one, meaning number 84 now has to be a 99 out of 100 choice. Yes, it's going to be the right one. Exactly the same here with only 3 boxes. Your choice here is a 1 in 3 choice because you plucked it out the air at random, which means that this one, following the elimination, is now 2 out of 3. You are twice as likely to win if you change your mind. So you can either stick with your gut and stick with number 3, or you can trust the maths and change to number 2. But you're going to get it wrong because everybody does. So let's put some money on it because it was your birthday on Sunday. What have we got? 50, 100, 155, £5. £5 says you will get this wrong. What are you going to do? Are you going to stick with number 3 and trust your gut, or are you going to trust the maths and change to number 2? And I'll tell you, Abby, no one ever changes their mind.
I'll stick with my gut.
Sticking with number 3, yes?
Yep.
And you're wrong. I'm sorry, I did everything I could to help. You should always trust the maths. Give her a hand, it was in number 2. I'm sorry. You do not win the shoe. You do not win the shoe, and I'm afraid, birthday or no, Abby, you do not win the £5 either. Nope. Not even real money. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Thank you, Henrietta. Well done. All right, thank you. There's just one thing I want to do before I let you actually go. Because I did all that work with the A to Z. I've got it all in my head. There's just one more thing I want to do before you actually go. Where are the cabbies again? Can I just get you to stand up? Thank you. I'm just going to ask you your names. I just need to see you and just hear you for a second. Oh, first of all, I have not met any of you before. I have not spoken with you or met you, correct? No. All right, great. What's your name, please?
David.
David, thank you, David. Okay, great. Let me just need to look at you for a second. And what's your name?
Freddie.
Freddie, great to meet you, Freddie. Thank you very much for coming. Okay, and your name, please? Paul. And I'm sorry, you up there? I didn't see you.
George.
George. Great, and not Ringo, is it? By any chance? But just look at me. I'm going to go, Paul, I'm going to go for you. Is that all right? Rest of you can sit down, Paul. Why don't you head up here? Let's give Paul a big hand as he comes up. Thank you, Paul. I won't embarrass you at all. You'll be fine. Come head over here for me, Paul. Okay, Paul. These are the pages from the A to Z. These are the pages you can see. I've torn them out and I've literally just put them all next to each other. You can see that really is what these are, yeah? Yeah. How long have you been a cabbie for?
8 years.
8 years, great. So you've got a good working knowledge of most of this, yeah? A lot of this is, clearly in your mind, yes?
This.
Just that one little bit there. Okay, you've got a working knowledge of the whole thing, I hope. I mean, you guys are amazing. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you this. I want you to hold it in your left hand. Great, thank you very much for coming up and doing this, by the way. Just look at me. I'm just going to leave that there and just sort of let that just sleep there for a minute. You can just look right at me. Good. As that just stays right there. Here's what we're going to do. I want you to imagine now that someone's got into your cab, and we're going to play an imaginary game. I want you to imagine they've asked to go to a destination. Right? We're going to call this Destination X. So they're going to go to Destination X. Don't be distracted. I think that's one of the pyros for the end of the show. But just keep going. So, what I need you to do for me is just to spend a moment as you think about that destination that they want to go to. Is any picture that you can make of wherever it is they want to go, of that destination, just try and do that for me now. Just spend a moment just forming a picture in your mind nice and clearly. Okay, have you got a picture now? Mm-hmm. All right, great. Thank you. Just going to put your hand down there for a second. You can just relax that down to your side there too. All right, now you know where the destination is. Let's think about the starting point. Let's imagine you're in your cab, but you're no more than 1.5 miles away from Destination X. Okay? So let's imagine that they get in the cab. Now you can see this guy doesn't know London very well. You can see he's rich. And he's foreign as well, let's be frank, Paul, let's not mince words. You're going to give him a little bit of a ride, all right? You're going to take him on a bit of a roundabout route to Destination X. Not for a moment does this reflect on you. I'm sure you would never do this, but purely as a kind of an imaginative game, as a thought exercise, you're going to take him on a roundabout route to get from wherever you are to Destination X. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Great, okay. So I take your hand here. I want you to look right at me. As I bring your hand up, it's going to let your eyelids just start to close now, just like that. That's great. And as your hand comes down, you can just relax more and just sink right into this for me so you can really sink and just drift. That's great, and just float. And as you do this for me, I'm going to take your hand here, and with your eyes closed, that's perfect. In a moment, I'm just going to touch you on the shoulder, and I want you then to start imagining the journey from the starting point to Destination X, going a roundabout route. Now, the route that you take and the turnings you take are entirely up to you, of course. You're going to make those up as you go along. All I ask is that as you do it, that you really clearly in your mind visualize and almost feel the turnings that you're taking, whether they're to the left or to the right. So what I'd like you to do is to start that for me now. Visualizing that journey, really taking each turning and just really feeling each time that you take a turning. Visualizing it so you remember this route. Keep going, take your time, you take as long as you like. When you're finished and you've arrived at the destination, you're just going to say, I'm here, and then you're going to open your eyes for me. You take all the time that you need.
I'm here.
Great, open your eyes for me, put your hand down. Okay, great. Apologise for holding your hand, I know a lot of cabbies are uncomfortable with that, especially when they're driving. Will you just find where you started? Where was your starting point? Will you point that out for me? Where's that?
Buckingham Palace.
All right, great. So I'm going to put a little cross there at Buckingham Palace. Okay. You're going to talk the route through with me from Buckingham Palace all the way to wherever your destination is. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Where are we going from here? Just talk me through. We're on Buckingham Palace Road. Do you want to go down there, or where did you end up?
Constitution Hill.
Constitution Hill, coming along there. So I'm going to start to draw the route, and you're going to tell me where we're going to go.
Hyde Park Corner.
Hyde Park Corner. Where from Hyde Park Corner?
Up Park Lane.
Okay, this is the route that you took. Please do not change it. Whatever that route was in your mind, you mustn't change it now, all right? So going up Park Lane, yes?
Yeah.
Right to the top?
Yeah, to Marble Arch.
To Marble Arch. Where now?
Bayswater Road.
Bayswater Road. We're going to go along here. We're going down Bayswater Road. Past Lancaster Gate?
Yeah, into Notting Hill Gate.
To Notting Hill Gate, right to the end here. So now we're here. Where from Notting Hill Gate?
Into Holland Park Avenue.
Into Holland Park Avenue. So we keep on going straight?
Yeah.
Right the way across?
Yeah.
Right the way to Holland Park?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
To Holland Circus, yeah.
To Holland Circus. Okay, where next? Where from Holland Park?
Straight over.
Straight over. Where to?
Into Shepherd's Bush Green.
Shepherd's Bush Green. Here? Where from here?
That's it.
That's it? So that was your final destination?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a bit of a roundabout route. What route would you have normally taken then?
Along here and up here.
Along there and up there. So you've taken a longer route, which is great. Okay, so thank you for that. What are we talking? How much would that cost?
£8.
£8 or so, which is a lot more than you normally get for that journey, yeah? Okay, great, okay, that's fantastic. So you end up at Shepherd's Bush Green. Let me write that up there. Shepherd's Bush Green. Okay, and the grid reference for that, can you just check that for me? We're on, just come in so you can check this for me. It's 2E, yes?
Yep.
2E and page?
82.
82, yeah, that's 83 that just sort of starts there. So you happy with that? 2E, 82, yes?
Yep.
Yep, okay. 2E, 82. All right. Does that feel fair?
Yep.
Yep, okay, I mean, you started anywhere you like. I mean, actually, bearing in mind you could have gone anywhere, you've gone for, if you don't mind me saying, a fairly conservative route. That obviously shows you're a nice guy and an honest cabbie, but that's great. Bearing in mind you had free permission to go anywhere, but you've clearly gone around the houses a bit. Great, that feels fair, yes? Let me show you how fair it was. You've got the envelope behind you there. Open up the envelope. You need to take out a sheet of white folded card. Just take it out and hold on to it. Don't unfold it yet. Just hang on to it for a second for me. Shepherd's Bush Green, 2E82. Yes? Unfold that, show everybody. We've got 2E82 is what it should be. What have you got? 2E82. Spot on. Let me take that for you. 2E82. Have you got that? Thank you very much indeed. Well done. You got it spot on. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Wait. It feels weird, doesn't it? Yeah. It feels weird because you could have started anywhere. You started over here by Buckingham Palace. And those turnings that you were taking, the routes that you decided to go left or right, entirely up to you as you went along. You were making that up as you went along, yes?
Yeah.
It feels weird. Open up the envelope as well. Inside there's also there's an acetate sheet, which you would have seen if you take that out for me. And if you open that up, no, not that, just the acetate sheet. Put that back in for a second. Okay, and what is that? What can you see on there?
This way round.
It says this way round and a red line.
Yeah.
This was the route that I wanted you to take, the last bit of the journey. If you just lay that over it, that is the route that I wanted you to take, even though I gave you permission to go anywhere you like. You still went in a straight line. Thank you very much indeed. I'm going to give you that. You did it perfectly. One more thing. There is one more thing in there. Just take it out for me. Hang on a second. One more thing. Take it out for me. What is that?
A receipt.
A cab receipt for how much?
£8.
For £8. Of course it is. That's me. That's it. She got back to your seat. Thank you very much. Good evening. Very nice to see you all. Thank you for coming. Obviously, a show like this is going to involve a certain amount of audience participation. So I thought I'd get rid of that whole awful embarrassment factor. Now, Jean-Christophe Novelli, you're sat a couple of rows back, couple in from the aisle. Would you stand up for me, sir?
You have to stand up. Oh, no.
Stand up for me, Jean-Christophe, please. Stand up. Jean-Christophe, thank you. Please listen carefully. If you look over to the left-hand side of the stage for me, you'll see a tall table, and on top of the table is a stuffed kitten. Can you see that, Jean-Christophe?
Yes, I do, yes.
Excellent. What I would like you to do for me is to go and get the kitten.
Oh, no.
Hang on.
No. It's my night off.
Listen carefully. I'd like you to go and get the kitten off the table. I don't want to embarrass you in front of 200 people, of course. No. So I'd like you to try and get the kitten without anybody seeing you. Go on, off you go.
Please. I don't know. It's my night off.
Right, I think I can see you. Take the kitten back to your seat for me, Jean-Christophe. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. All right, listen carefully. In a moment, I want you to throw the kitten backwards, over your shoulder, into the audience. Not yet. This will then select a random volunteer. Of course, this means everybody behind Jean-Christophe will now pretend they don't exist. If the kitten comes at you, you just catch it. Jean-Christophe, throw it backwards now into the audience. Go, over your head. Throw it for me. Whoever that's nearest, pick that up for me. Jean-Christophe, you can now sit down. Thank you very much indeed. Whoever's got the kitten, will you please stand? Excellent. What's your name, madam?
Jeannie.
Jeannie, very good to meet you, Jeannie. Jeannie, first of all, we have never met before, ever. I have prepared nothing with you, correct?
I don't know who you are.
Excellent. Well, thank you for coming. Jeannie, if I was to ask you to name any country in the world, all right, now don't name maybe France or England or even America, maybe they might seem a little bit obvious. And bearing in mind, you can change your mind as many times as you like. What would you say?
Africa.
Africa. Excellent. Well, that's kind of what I hoped. It tells me that you are clearly sharp enough to try and keep me on my toes, yet you're not going to try too hard to catch me out, and that you have massive emotional damage. Jeannie.
How right you are.
Jeannie, it would be a little bit ambitious of me at this point to try and control your choice of any country in the world, but I think I can control your choice of one of three shapes. If you look in the center of the stage, you'll see a board with three shapes mounted on them. Can you see that?
Yes.
Excellent. In a moment, Jeannie, I will ask you to name one of those three shapes. I think I know in advance which one of those shapes you're going to choose. So I will give you 3 seconds of silence, and during that time, I want you to make up your mind and choose one of the shapes. Whatever you say, Jeannie, I will take as your absolute final decision, and I will not let you change your mind. Is that clear?
Okay. Yes.
All right. And you'll notice, by the way, I haven't tried to attract your attention to one shape more than the others. I'm sure you'll agree everything is fair and square. Here are your 3 seconds. Your 3 seconds of silence starts now. 1, 2, 3. I will not let you change your mind. Is that clear? Which shape would you like?
Triangle.
The triangle. Right, would you like to change your mind? A free choice. Yes?
Yes.
All right, here's what I want you to do. Leave the kitten with the person next to you. I'd like you to walk down onto the stage and stand next to the microphone. That's just next to the board with the shapes on it. Give Jeannie a big hand as she heads up on stage. Thank you. The mic is just to the right of the shapes. If you can just stand so you're facing the audience, lovely. Now, Jeannie, just behind that board with the shapes on, there's a card table. Will you just pick the brick up off the card table, please? Thank you very much. Pick it up, and then with your other hand, I need you to pick up the black envelope that's just there. Pick up the black envelope that's just on the card table. Thank you. And then put the brick back. Thank you. All right. So, take the envelope that was under the brick, take it to the microphone. I'd like you to undo it for me and take out what's inside. A folded sheet of paper. Good. If you can undo the folded sheet of paper for me. And Jeannie, I would like you, please, in your nicest, clearest voice, to read out what it says right from the top of the page. Nice and clearly, please. Off you go.
Okay, Derren. But before I start, may I just say how much I've enjoyed the recent series.
Oh, Jeannie, that is so sweet of you. Thank you so much. That's lovely. You can read a little quicker if you like.
If my abilities are well honed tonight, you will be a tall, well-dressed and sexually attractive lady.
I do apologise.
Upon being asked to choose a shape, there is only one shape you can choose. That shape will, of course, be the triangle. However, However, what will really bug you is how I also knew that you would choose the country Africa.
Africa it was. Jeannie, back to your seat. Keep it going for Jeannie. Head back to your seat, Jeannie.